Hi, I'm Kyle Sloan. This is my friend Damon Corneli, and we're going to take a look at probably Osaekomi Waza and all of the Osaekomi techniques in Judo, which is Ushiro Kesa Gatame or reverse Kesa Gatame. I'm going to have Damon start off with his head toward me so I can demonstrate one particular element that I like to get into. Legs out straight, please. And that is, if I'm setting up my reverse Kesa with my body position here, this other arm is of particular importance in that the angle here, if this makes like a 90-degree angle or less, it's typically a little bit weaker control position in my opinion. So you'll notice that I'll use my elbow, keeping my elbow on the floor, to elevate that arm and get a little bit more ownership of it. So in this position, I would just basically be driving up, keeping the elbow flat on the ground to elevate that elbow. So let's go ahead and rotate this way, please. One of the things that I do with my Kesa, the Ushiro Kesa, is if I can make a fist and put it right up against his neck, that's ideally where I want my hip. So as I come in and make my setting action, I want to be straight up and down. And if I'm straight up and down, you'll notice that there's at least a fist width between my hip and his neck. So to really get that set, I've got to chalk him a little bit, and that'll let my hip slide in a little bit further. To control his free arm here, I might reach just grabbing it this way and grabbing my own lapel, as we've talked about in other lessons. You may do a classical Kesa Gatame where you're curling the arm back, pulling with the lats, either from what I call this one a reverse grip, or from a standard grip, either way. Again, using this elbow to elevate that shoulder action. Big toe on the back, little toes on the front. That allows me to bridge weight effectively. There's two main concepts for Ushiro Kesa that people will use. They'll either use a head down action, which is fairly nice. I prefer an upright action myself. If you play a forward action here, one thing to be very cautious of is the man's knees, in that he might knee you in the head. So you'll have to keep your head really down to avoid that sort of thing. I love my dentist. She's a really great, wonderful person, but I don't like to go visit her more than every 6 months if I can avoid it at all, which is one of the reasons I really prefer laying way back. His knees could still get up this way, but you'll feel them coming from a long way off. You can always duck down at that point. The other thing I really like about this high position is I really get exquisite control of his head. And I can just bridge a little weight. I'm using, there's a pocket about a fist size between the bottom short ribs and the hip. And that's really what I've got engaged on his head. And he will tell you, if he could tell you right now, it's really, when you start bridging that weight, it's very uncomfortable. When I bridge that weight, I'm just lifting my fanny straight up in the air. I'm not leaning at all into him. If I start driving actions like this, I'm giving him energy and allowing him to turn me over, which I don't really want to do. If I just lift my fanny up, he does not have that luxury at all. So some of the escape ideas that we typically think about here, one of the classic beginnings is two hands in one spot. So Damon just puts both of his hands together. It doesn't really matter where. And hang on just a second. It's very important to note that whenever you're doing two hands in one spot, you can make little gripping actions any which way, but never interlock your fingers like that at all, because oftentimes they'll end up broken. So you can make any sort of gripping action that you like as you're making this entry. From here, he's going to put his abs to work, and he's going to do a curling action. He's going to crunch me down, and as he crunches me down with his abs, he's also going to be pulling down with his hands, pulling me to his belly, and he's going to hold me there. When he bridges in, he's going to hold this, and then he's going to shrimp using this leg, driving up to the top corner to turn me over. And then from here, he can let this left leg switch through underneath, and he'll often end up in a very nice Kesa Gatame position himself. So again, we can see, let's rotate this way a little bit. Two hands in one spot. It doesn't really matter so much where. I like to get a little bit higher because just physics, it's leverage. I also like to lift my butt in the air, crunch it down, turn him over. So that's the most common escape that we use around here for the reverse Kesa. There are others, but that's the one that we get the best mileage with. So that's just a little look at Ushiro Kesa Gatame, and I hope you enjoy it.